Prepare to journey into the chilling and blood-soaked annals of history as we delve into a tale like no other. In Inside the Darkness, my journey as Vlad's advisor, we unlock the secrets of a dark and harrowing past, where the infamous Vlad the Impaler, ruler of Wallachia, held sway over a realm of unspeakable cruelty. In this bone-chilling narrative, you will experience the horrors and madness that unfolded under Vlad's rule through the eyes of his trusted advisor. From gruesome impalements to nightmarish punishments, we will explore the depths of a reign that knew no bounds and witness the true horrors of a man who descended into madness. Buckle up, for this is a story of darkness, fear, and the relentless pursuit of power. Inside the Darkness, my journey as Vlad's advisor. In the dimly lit chamber of Vlad III's fortress in Wallachia, I found myself seated across from the man whose name had become synonymous with terror and cruelty. My name is Alexander, and I had been assigned as an advisor to the ruthless voivode, Vlad the Impaler. Little did I know that my role would entail bearing witness to the horrors that would unfold under his rule. Vlad sat at his ornate wooden desk, his piercing eyes fixed upon me. He was known for his cold and calculating demeanor, a man whose cruelty knew no bounds. It was my duty to advise him, but I soon realized that my counsel held no sway over his malevolent ambitions. "Tell me, Alexander," Vlad began, his voice like ice, "what do you think of my methods of maintaining order in Wallachia?" I hesitated for a moment, choosing my words carefully. "My lord, I understand the need for a strong hand in ruling, but the impalements, the forests of corpses, they are beyond brutal. The people live in constant fear." Vlad's lips curled into a sinister smile. "Fear, Alexander, is a potent weapon. It keeps my enemies at bay and ensures that those who dare to defy me think twice before doing so." I nodded, unable to meet his gaze. My heart weighed heavy with the knowledge of the atrocities I had seen. I had watched as Vlad ordered the impalement of thousands, from common criminals to innocent villagers accused of petty crimes. The sight of their agonized faces haunted my dreams. "Allow me to regale you with a tale, Alexander," Vlad said, leaning back in his chair. "A lesson in the consequences of betrayal." He spoke of a nobleman who had dared to conspire against him, a man named Radu. Vlad's eyes glittered with a sadistic delight as he described how he had lured Radu into a trap, promising safe passage. Instead, he had Radu impaled, his screams echoing through the night as his life was slowly drained away. My stomach churned at the gruesome recounting of the betrayal, and I found myself growing ever more repulsed by the man before me. But I had no choice but to listen, for my own survival depended on it. As weeks turned into months, I became an unwilling witness to Vlad's descent into madness. He spoke of his disdain for the Ottoman Turks, the very empire that had held him captive as a hostage in his youth. His vengeance knew no bounds, and he devised ever more sadistic methods to exact it. One fateful day, a group of Ottoman emissaries arrived at Vlad's fortress bearing gifts and diplomatic intentions. They entered his chamber with an air of arrogance, their turbans proudly adorning their heads. It was then that Vlad's malevolence would reach new heights. "Remove your turbans," Vlad commanded, his voice dripping with menace. The Ottoman emissaries exchanged uneasy glances but refused to comply. Their turbans held deep cultural and religious significance, and they would not remove them in the presence of a foreign ruler. Vlad's eyes narrowed with cold fury. "Very well," he hissed. "You shall keep your turbans." With a wave of his hand, Vlad ordered his guards to seize the emissaries. They held the men down, their turbans still firmly in place. Vlad approached the leader of the group, his eyes filled with sadistic glee. "You wish to keep your turbans?" Vlad sneered. "Very well, you shall have your wish." In a horrifying act of cruelty, Vlad nailed the turbans to the emissaries' heads. Their agonized screams filled the chamber as the nails were driven through cloth, flesh, and bone. Blood trickled down their foreheads, mingling with the fabric of their turbans. I could hardly bear to witness the sadistic punishment, my heart heavy with disgust. Vlad had surpassed even his own twisted standards of cruelty. The emissaries, their faces contorted in unimaginable pain, were left with their turbans permanently affixed to their skulls. "Let this be a message to the Turks," Vlad declared, his eyes gleaming with malevolence. "They shall know the price of crossing me." I could no longer contain my horror, and I implored Vlad to reconsider his path. "My lord, we are descending into madness," I pleaded. "There must be another way to achieve your goals." But my words only earned me a chilling smile from Vlad. "You underestimate the depths of my determination, Alexander. I will do whatever it takes to ensure that Wallachia remains mine." As the days passed, I realized that my presence in Vlad's inner circle was both a blessing and a curse. While it allowed me a measure of safety, it also meant that I was privy to the darkest corners of his mind. I watched as he reveled in the suffering of others, his sadistic glee knowing no bounds. One night, as I lay in my chamber within the fortress, I heard screams echoing through the stone walls. I rushed to the source of the commotion and was met with a gruesome sight. Vlad stood before a group of prisoners, his eyes ablaze with a manic fervor. "Alexander," he said, his voice a chilling whisper, "I have devised a new form of punishment, one that will strike fear into the hearts of all who dare to oppose me." He ordered the prisoners to be flayed alive, their agonized screams echoing through the night. I could hardly bear to watch as their flesh was torn from their bodies and their lives were extinguished in a grotesque spectacle of suffering. I had reached my breaking point, unable to stomach the horrors I had witnessed under Vlad's rule. I knew that I could no longer be a part of his malevolent reign, and I hatched a desperate plan to escape his clutches. Under the cover of darkness, I slipped away from the fortress, leaving behind the horrors of Wallachia and the man who had become a monster in his relentless pursuit of power. I would carry the weight of those nightmarish memories with me for the rest of my days, haunted by the knowledge of the atrocities I had seen. As I made my escape, I vowed to tell the world of the horrors that had transpired under Vlad the Impaler's rule, for the darkness that had consumed him must be exposed, and his victims must be remembered. The name of Vlad III would forever be associated with unspeakable cruelty, and the world would know the true horrors of his reign. Thanks for watching. To support us, please like and subscribe.